What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt Taville with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Eddie Hearn. And Eddie Hearn says that it would be embarrassing for Deontay Wilder to step aside for Anthony Joshua versus Tyson Fury. And he goes in depth. He says, he said, of course it would be showing weakness. It would actually be embarrassing, to be honest. If you take step aside money, you're showing horrific weakness because you're giving someone an opportunity to take what you should feel is yours without you getting an opportunity to win it back, he continued. If you believe in yourself and back yourself, you should never step aside. Never. Of course, that is absolutely right. For the greatness of boxing, for the progression of the sport, yes, it's good for Deontay Wilder to step aside. But what Eddie Hearn has said is absolutely spot on. That's why Deontay Wilder won't do it. That's why I agree he won't do it. He has too much pride for that. And like I told you guys, it would be like a slap in the face for Deontay Wilder to take step aside money, you know. And I'm glad that he worded it like that because that's a great point. You don't never want to get beat. Your first career loss, okay? Any boxer has the opportunity or should have the opportunity to get their revenge, right? To make that wrong right. And how do you do that? You have an opportunity to fight back and to fight and beat the guy. That's the goal anyway. Beat the guy that beat you for the first time so you can go ahead and take that thorn out of your sword. Thorn out of your side, right? And I think that Wilder, I don't know what his mental condition is right now. We can only speculate. We haven't heard from him. He's went deep, deep, deep underground. You know, he had to be, you know, with all this stuff going on in the world, you know, we haven't heard anything from him. You know, you could just assume, you know, he's doing bad or whatever, but we don't really know. I can tell you this. He hasn't stepped up to tell us anything. But what he did do, he let us know that damn fight's going to be next. The trilogy fight is going to be next. So if he didn't do anything, he let us know, like, hey, I'm taking that damn fight. You know, that's what he said in his Bomb Squad Army. That's what he said to them. That's what he assured to his fans, that the war has just begun, you know, and I will fight to the death. Right? Right? So that is what he did say. So I guess that's all he felt he had to say. I don't know. I hope he's all right. If something's wrong, I would feel shitty. You know what I mean? Real talk. But, you know, he hasn't said anything else. But Eddie Hearn is absolutely right. Because if you look at it like this, to be fair, people, if you took that and you said, oh, well, Andy Ruiz beat Anthony Joshua last year, June 1st, right? And then all of a sudden, Anthony Joshua took step-aside money so Andy Ruiz could fight the WBC champion at the time, Deontay Wilder. What would you think of Anthony Joshua? What would you think of AJ? Pretty shitty. The first thing you would think, he's weak. He don't think he can win. You know, he doubts himself like he's already said he was doubting himself. So everybody would have, man, them LDBC cats, like saying ABC, LDBC. But anyway, like those cats, they would have crucified Anthony Joshua. Right? Am I right or am I wrong? They would have crucified that man, and the first thing they would have said was, you know what? They could have assumed it all. Oh man, he came over from the UK. He can't fight outside the UK. You know, he has a mental block. Oh man, he was this, he was that. You know, and he got beat. He got beat in Madison Square. I bet you never bring his ass back to the USA. Stuff like that. It would be embarrassing, you know, but it would show weakness. So I don't think that Deontay Wilder should ever do that either. Even though for the sport, right, it's better. But it's a good thing, you know, he has people like Al Haymon. Al Haymon might not have gave him the money like Eddie Hearn has gave Anthony Joshua, you know, based on what they've done in their career. But he is a smart businessman, and what he did not do was go into that fight and fall for the WBC's bullshit because they're trying to fuck over Dillian White. Real talk. Right? And call that a mandatory because he knew damn well it wasn't really a mandatory. So what happened? They put that contractual agreement in there. If he does win, either guy on both sides, Bob Arum and Al Heyman, you know, and Frank Warren on, you know, with Bob Arum, you know, they gave them guys an opportunity, okay, to get a rematch. Right? So that is what it is, but it is the first loss. So anybody has the opportunity or should have the opportunity to get, you know, to avenge the loss, especially if there's their first loss, because that hurts more than others. If you're already beat once, then you get beat again. Okay, you've been there, done that. But the first loss, you know, that's almost like, you know, that's a first experience of emotion, because it's something that, and people deal with it different ways, you know. It reminds me of Adrian Broner. A lot of people, you know, oh, Adrian Broner was the next Mayweather and this, that, and the other, you know, but then when Marcos Maidana beat him, just giving you guys an example, what happened to Adrian Broner? If you can remember, Adrian Broner was that guy that will pick you apart, and he was similar to the Pretty Boy, right? He was the guy that was following that Pretty Boy Floyd Mayweather trail, because he was fighting all these guys. He was cocky. He was more cocky. Pretty Boy was like a good kid at first, and he turned into a little asshole. Then he kind of went to jail and kind of grew up, right? But Adrian Broner was like Pretty Boy Floyd with added more obnoxious tendencies and attributes, okay? Because he was an obnoxious cat, you know, but he was fighting, and you're seeing the punches and the way that he fought and dismantled these guys, right? And he was moving up the weight class, got to welterweight. And then he fought Marcos Maidana, and Marcos Maidana beat him 12 rounds. But what happened? He never had the opportunity to avenge the loss. Floyd took it from him, because Floyd is, you know, he wants to be in the spotlight. He wants to be glorified, you know. And I think anytime when you do that with Floyd will show you. But anyway, it just lets you know that Adrian Broner, after all that, saying all that, Adrian Broner was not the same fighter. Why? Because I believed he was not able to avenge his first loss. So anybody and everybody should be able to. Because if Deontay Wilder went on to fight someone else, that fight will always be on his mind. Man, Tyson Fury fucked you up. They would say that, and it would bother him. You know what I mean? And if he's a competitive guy, I know he has a hell of an ego, but in this third fight, we get to see how competitive he really is, you know, based on what he uses, what he does, how he prepares. This shows who he really is, you know. So Eddie Hearn's right. He shouldn't be able to. He shouldn't do that, because then he's not really calling himself a champion if he's able to allow these two guys to fight. He still has beef with Tyson Fury. And again, it's not the fight that anybody really wants to see. I'm not saying that. I'm not vouching for the fight. But the fight is necessary for the pride of the fighter. And the pride of the fighter is Deontay Wilder. You know, because again, if there was another fighter, we didn't say shit. Anthony Joshua fought Andy Ruiz. After Ruiz beat him, nobody really said shit except the people that hated on Anthony Joshua. Okay? And that's real talk. But anyway, you guys tell me what you think about Eddie Hearn's comments. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been counterpunched. Peace.